Okay, so we are back for our live chat on New Year's Day. We had one New Year's Eve and halfway decent turnout was pretty interesting. Had a lot of fun. And now we are on the first day of 2024. Okay, so here we go, guys. We'll see how things go for all of us now. Now, New Year's celebrations. Watched a ball drop at Times Square. Uh, FJB 2024. Oh well, Sherman, I'm not sure, but watched the ball drop, and of course, I live in a rural area, and there's this strange uh, tradition, okay, that started back actually 4 years ago when all this stuff about the last election started. Is one day when something happened, I think when the election was announced, all the people in the area, and like I said, I'm rural, there's several huge farms uh, in the area that I live in, okay? And all of a sudden, in the middle of a Saturday or something afternoon, you heard this gunfire. And most of the time, the development I live in, it's in a weird place in the county. Uh, so the school districts are kind of funny. The kids have to travel, they have to get on a bus and go a good distance. So there wasn't a lot of people living around me that had young children. It was mostly retired people, and actually, it was a very quiet place to live, really nice. And every New Year's, after me and my wife watched the ball drop and had some champagne, something to eat, we go out on the porch and stand there, and our animals would show up because it was dead silence. Nobody had any dogs. Everything was quiet. And now the gunfire lasts for 30 minutes. Last year it was warm. It went on for an hour and a half. People were just shooting, and last night, no different. There were some people launching fireworks. Some people will come out and fire a pistol or something, fire a gun. I think the neighbor shot something, and you could hear it all around. And it's all in that whole region. Some of it was far off. There was automatic weapons fire. There was people just dumping a mag of their pistol, hopefully not shooting in the air. So I have to check the house for stray bullet damage every New Year's. And of course, this ruckus, and then the neighbor's dog. I don't know if the gunfire bothers him. This huge Doberman barked for an hour and a half nonstop. I mean, I don't know how the animal did it without collapsing, but he just was barking. I don't know if the gunfire upset him, made him nervous, or somebody might have shot at him, had a near death experience and traumatized him. But this went on. And of course, usually, if when it was quiet, I'd sit out there with my wife and they'd hear our voice and our pets would show up, but the raccoons did not show up. They came earlier, like around 8 o'clock or something, grabbed something to eat, and they disappeared. Plus, it was cold. It was very cold this year. But the sky was nice. You can see the stars and the constellations, and wandered around outside with heavy jackets on. Finished our little toast to the new year and started the year off right. So, and then I said, well, I promised all my viewers that we go live again. So here we are, and let's see how it goes today. Um, so far, the new year, at least as far as I'm concerned, like I said, I got a slew of doctor's appointments, and other than some issues with uh, my diabetes, really things are okay. But my arm, unfortunately, my hand and my arm, that's never going to get better, and that's kind of putting a damper on a lot of the projects I got and doing stuff. But um, you know, things are good. Like I said, I finally retired, got things organized and calm, got an idea, form a plan now. I got some things stabilized and settled, and go on. You know, basically now, especially in these winter months where it's cold, I'll be doing a lot of work with YouTube and putting up some content and discussing things. And the reason the political discussions is there were several people who really liked those discussions before they started getting really heavy in the censorship. There was actually a man from my gun club that lives somewhere close by. Uh, he told me he had to go in a hospital for an operation of some sort. Nothing serious, but old age, something starts to fail. So we went in for some surgery, and he said when I'm lying there in the hospital room, he goes, my daughter would come and check on me every day, but he goes, I watched all your videos commenting on all these things, all the different topics that are somewhat banned now. And he said it got me through that. He goes, it helped me with the boredom. It meant a lot to me and all that other stuff. And I said, well, I'm glad that it helped. And now, all right, everybody kind of woke up. Yeah, and we got some more. So we got Joe Morgan. Joe, always good to hear from you. All I did, the raccoons really didn't have with all the gunfire a good thing. And Rodney's there. The gun geek is back. All right. So we got the fellows from Canada. I know I think where they live, it's 10 o'clock or 10:30 or whatever this is. They're they're in a different time zone. I didn't realize that. So I hope everybody got through New Year's Eve unscathed. Uh, I did. Most of the people, I went to the Legion, and a lot of some of them people are 70, 80 years old. They go to some dinner around 6 o'clock, and they get back to the house and I guess sit like me and watch the ball drop down in Times Square at midnight. Uh, the police were warning that they're going to be looking for people, and they told you on the radio, if you see anybody that looks, just dial 911 and give us their license plate, and we'll get you. And I don't know. Unfortunately, with the local police force, they lost an officer Saturday night. And I really didn't quite get it. Several of my friends were posting something on Facebook about it. And then finally we caught it on the news. Um, the officer was off duty in a Sheetz gas station convenience store. And I guess three individuals were committing a crime of some sort or doing something. And he stepped in. Most off-duty cops have their badge, and that he stepped in, and unfortunately, the altercation, he was shot and passed away. So the police were kind of busy and really upset. So don't know what happened there. I didn't add or retract from the population, so it's a good day. I like that. I didn't add or retract from the population. Yeah. Happy New Year's. Hunter's here. All right. So we're getting the same lineup of guys again, which is good. And like I said, looks like everybody got through the New Year's reveling and that in one piece. Because the Legion, they closed down. All the old folks, they go to some place for some dinner and head back. And then the local biker bar, they had a kick-ass band in there. This band's very popular, and whenever they play the venue, they get a crowd, and they were in there warming up. I stopped to see a few of my friends, a few of my buddies were there in the afternoon, about 3, 4 o'clock. So I bought everybody a beer for New Year's and did my thing, spread joy and happiness throughout the community, and got my ass home. Uh, but the band was warming up, and I mean, it just about blew you out of the room. You couldn't talk or nothing anymore once, and they were pretty good. But I wasn't going to wait around or go in there at midnight and stuff uh, to deal with it. So, what input do you fellows have other than, hey, I'm here and this and that? Or any questions, comments, or I know several of you fellows do have your own channels. What are you guys planning to do this year uh, with your content and that? Um, I'm going to keep going along with the guns. I was doing something where I was reviewing pieces in my collection, trying to get an idea what they're worth or how you can find out what the going rate is on them. And all of that's unstable. And with the economy taking a nosedive, I doubt you're going to find anybody beating the door down. I don't know, some unusual pieces people, want. Cast more bullets, load more ammo. Okay, Sherman. That's about what I'm going to do. It's not a resolution, it's just a fact. Yeah, still in shock for what surplus goes for. Yes. And, trying to get an idea of what's reasonable. Okay. All right, Benjamin, Happy New Year too. It's kind of like, when the Nagants were, the Mosin Nagants were $99, that stopped. There's still hundreds of thousands of them over there, but everything's screwed up. Everybody hates the damn Russians, so you can't get decent caviar or nothing. And nobody's letting them import any of that stuff. What's the one missing piece in your collection that you want the most that's not unattainable? Let me think. And that's from Aquastar. That's a good question. Let me dwell on that. The tip up by Kyle Shotguns again. That tip up barrel pistol was the one thing that come on out of the SHOT Show that I wanted, and I really wanted that gun, and I did pay for it and got it. But in my collection, yeah, in Canada, you can find them. Oof, caviar. What's wrong, Joe? You couldn't get any? It's tough to get this stuff. And it only comes once a year around New Year's. That Whole Foods will have something palatable. I mean, they got stuff from carp or whatever the hell in there, just fish eggs, but it isn't the same. Adolf Hitler's Walter, yeah. I'll sell the house and everything. I don't know if I could still get it. Well, there's taste for everyone. On New Year's, I happen to like to eat some black caviar and drink some champagne. It's kind of a Russian thing or Slavic thing. 1051. Right there. X-Men had it. Okay, so back to the question. The only things I was really looking for, because I've collected all my life. So the Japanese rifle, Mausers, I had all type of Mauser bolt action rifles. And when I was younger, I used to get surplus ammo and shoot the hell out of them. So like KR98s, I got one of those scrubbed Yugoslav ones. It's like mint that shoots wonderful. So if I ever want to shoot a KR98, I shoot that one. Um, I don't need one with Nazi markings. I've had several over the years and bought and sold them. Um, so the bolt action guns really, other than the ones I have to test ammo, I have good examples or examples of good bores that I can test the ammunition out in all the different calibers. I really don't accumulate them. I had an accumulation of them. I got into the antique guns, and basically I've kind of caught up. I have the Chaspo, the Graz, the Mausers. I still have them. I think I'm going to dig them out this year and do some reloading and bullets for them and smokeless loads for the 71. 71's tough to get to shoot, but I did it. And the 7184 is more like a modern gun. So that's pretty easy to reload for. And they're a good shooting gun. And that Bertram brass isn't that expensive. Well, it is, but you can get it and it works fine. And that's the way to go. You can make the brass from other stuff, but I found like doing it with the Verndl, when you make it, and that guy sells it for about $45, $50, you can get one load out of it. And when you fire it and the brass kind of flows forward after two shots, you use it, it's so thick because you're cutting down a super long case and you get the wall thickness, it won't chamber in the gun. So now you either have to turn the neck or you have to get a special die and go and run a reamer down there and that. So with all the expense and everything, you're better off. A lot of these things, the Bertram brass, pay the money. How many rounds do you need? 40 rounds, 60 rounds. You don't load. At least I don't know anybody that would load like 200 rounds of these old antique cartridges. Um, you know, but like the Italian Verily, you have to make it and some other ones. So I might be digging out some of those guns, taking them out, doing some reloading. But actually, what is attainable? But we also can use a Uzi in our collection. All right. The only things I was really thinking, FNFAL. That is the one thing that is attainable, and that is something I've really thought about trying to add. I've never had one. I fired some of my friends. I was going to build one with a kit, but I had the kit, and I couldn't get a receiver for, it was like 4 or 5 years for finally they showed up, the semi-auto receivers, and I sold the kit by then. I gave up on it. But yeah, FNFAL or getting the version of the Heckler and Koch, the G1, I guess the PTR 91 or something. I was tempted to get one of them, but I had an actual HK semi-automatic rifle that I bought way back in the late 70s, early 80s. I bought that gun and I shot that, and I had mags and everything for it. It was a neat gun. I liked it. But unfortunately, economic hardship, it had to take a walk. Okay, let's see. All right, now we got some activity. I see the market's going nuts this year. You're talking about what? The gun market, the precious metals market, all of it. I got to check. I just got a notice from my investments. I got to go online and look at that. Yeah, Austrian STG 58 is awesome. Yes, I really like one of them. And you can't stand semi-auto clones of full auto guns. All right, Joe. Well, with a little machining skill, you can make a full auto. Brown Joe. HK91 for me. Yeah, they are a good gun. Okay. Some people don't like them. I have a M1A1 copy. I still had. I had that built on a national match receiver. Uh, I would want a 74 SU clone. Okay, one of the little short barrel jobs. Um, and yeah, let's talk about AK-47s. I mean, I built a bunch of them. And Dragunov, yeah, that would be nice too. I built a bunch of them out of kits, and that was before I was on YouTube. I did a lot of work with them. I put them together. I built them. They were nice. And about the time, an AK-47, back in the day, the Chinese ones and that, they were about $400 gun, but still, $300 was a lot of money because, like, I'd go to a gun show and pick up these bolt action rifles that were coming in. Uh, good SKS with all the accessories that was an actual Chinese military issue one was like $180. And then the SKSs became popular and they kind of went up from that 100 and a half, 180 up to 300. That was after that ban. But the AKs they were like $300. And even when things got crazy, you could still get them. I remember they were around $500 15 years ago or something. They weren't, and they were doing that where they had to come in with a little skinny 10-round mag, and somebody, Century Arms, would mill out the receiver so it could take a 30-round mag because they were banned from importation or something. And they went up into the $500 price range, and I forget because they were popular and you could get them. Then all of a sudden they dried up, and now anything you find now you're looking $1,000 plus for the AK platform that's made here in the U.S. Or I'm not quite sure. I gave up on that. To me, that's way too much money. I mean, an FN is about, I think retail on an FN about $1,500-$1,600, and you're paying $1,200 for an AK. I mean, I've shot them; they're nice. I still have mine, but they ain't worth no $1,200. I put it that way. Or the AK-74s. Nice. I have an Arsenal. Yeah, Arsenals. I go for the 5.45. Well, that was another strange thing. I had a couple AK-74s. Okay, we're gonna skip these ads. Pay attention. And they're nice. They're an interesting gun. I still have one, and then I got one of them Polish Tantals that I put together. And the ammunition was dirt cheap. I mean, I used to have three. I still got a sealed 10, and I sold most of one 10 I opened, and I opened another one. I've been shooting it, and you can still. I forget where the hell I went, but it was Red Army Standard 5.45 by 30. Yeah, I got the box laying there. I found some non-corrosive ammo because the ammo is corrosive, and if you don't watch it or take the gas tube off and just hit it with some water or clean it out, the gas tubes on my guns, I never cleaned them. They're starting to rust on the inside. And trying to find parts for that is Russian import ban really scooge surplus. Yeah, they're making AKs now, and again, I forget that kid. There's another kid buys a lot of these high dollar guns. PA Gun Guy or something. He bought a lot of these refurb Garands from Royal Tiger. He buys a lot of the stuff from Palmetto State Armory. And a lot of that stuff he's got $1,000 price tag on it. Okay, and he goes out and he shoots them and he gives an honest opinion, and he does get a lot of that stuff. I think he got an AK from Palmetto State Armory, uh, and so if you go find him, PA Gun Guy, you can see what he's done from 4570. Yeah. The 43 Mauser from 4570. Yeah, see, I went and bought 100 Bertram brass cases, and that's all I use in mine. I don't load that really for much anybody. Same with the Brundle. Got about 80 cases. I'd buy them. They were $75 a box. I'd buy them, stack them up, and got into doing it. And that's all I need. You know, they hang in there pretty good. But yeah, AKs are expensive, and the AK-74, the ammunition was so cheap that Smith and Wesson made an AR-15 in that 5.45 caliber. I mean, that's how it was, and I mean, it was neat. The ammunition was all from the 70s. I think I got one from the early 80s or something, 110, but some of them were quite early. The ammo, I don't know where they were coming from, okay, or where the ammo was coming from, but just like the 7.62 by 25, that stuff was dirt cheap, okay, and you could buy it by the case, and there were tons of it. And I remember I called AIM or somebody, and they said, "Oh, we got a whole warehouse full of it. You know, you can order that anytime you want. We ain't gonna run out of that anytime soon." And then all of a sudden, poof, the stuff just disappears, you know. And I heard all kinds of wild stories. They said somebody in Alaska. I went to one gun show and I was talking about it. This one guy goes, "There's a guy up in Alaska that bought all of it and was trying to corner the market, you know." And I'm like, and then a lot of the online surplus dealers, I know Classic Firearms and somebody else, they bought a bunch of it and paid an expensive price for it. Then another bunch of it came in and was lower, and these guys were stuck with this ammo that they overpaid for. Nobody buy it from them at their price because they were trying to mark it up. And I don't know. Somebody did put some comments about the PPU hollow point ammos in, I think it was in 7.62, that they jam and they don't feed because the guns are designed to use ball ammo. They're not designed for hollow points or anything or soft pointed ammo, and that could be problematic with it. Let's see. Yeah, Remington rolling blocks, but they've gone up in price. Something. Uh, okay, a Galil, yeah. Those, if you can find them, a lot of them are they take some beat up guns and kind of rebuild them. They did used to bring them in. They were imported at one time, okay, a long time ago, and they are a neat gun, you know. But I don't think that's done anymore, or in the current situation now, I don't think anything you're going to see from there. Well, yeah, but see, that topic is banned here. I can't say nothing negative, but yeah, what goes on there, that whole situation there is not good. Okay, and like I said, you're going to have to wait, Joe. I'll discuss it because the family did send us some emails wishing us a Merry Christmas and that, so they're all still there. Nobody got drafted yet. Um, and yeah, there's a lot of bad things going on there. Okay, and it's not good. Let's see. Those guns here can't own. Yeah, okay. Project 100,000. Kind of don't really know what the hell that means. In my dreams, yeah. That's, but yeah, that's about what I'd be looking for. But then again, at this point, right now I'm trying to get everything stabilized and figure out where I'm going to go from here in retirement. And really dumping a ton of money into anything right now isn't a good idea for me. That's why I'm going to try to get through this year, see if things stabilize, see how things go, because there's nothing but pretty negative stuff out there about what's going to happen. And I believe the economy, uh, they're going to do something for the election. They're going to fuck shit up big time, and you're just going to have to hope, because one thing is things are starting to change. Okay, a lot of these entrenched politicians are dying of old age. Okay, so they got to go and buy another one to plug in the slot. I guess I don't know what's going to happen there. So there's a lot of changes coming, and a lot of the world the Great Reset, that ain't going too well. Uh, and let's see, I have an online from, yeah, the old style one. Springfield M1As. They're a good gun. I've seen several of them. The one I had was an old Chinese kit, but they came on a Springfield National Match receiver. Okay. So what I did is I had the damn gun rebuilt. I got rid of the stock. I bought a surplus stock. I sent it to one of those companies and had a medium weight match barrel put on it, new bolt, everything done. The hammer and all that other crap is fine. And I rebuilt the gun that way. But with the Springfields, those are always a good gun. Okay. And there was a guy at a range. They did something. The idiots tried mounting something on the rifle. And the guy bought this gun used and he was firing it and it wouldn't work. And I looked at him and I said, look, do you mind if I help you guys? It's none of my business. But I said, did you take the gun apart? No. I said, do you know how to disassemble this weapon? No. I said, okay, let me take it apart. We'll take a look at the gas piston and all this other stuff. And what some asshole did is he tried mounting a bipod or something on there, and where the sling swivel is, it's riveted. They ground the rivets to get this thing to fit on there. This is a $1,700 gun. Okay. They ground the rivets and the damn thing come loose. And when I pulled the stock off, there was wood splinters and all the internal things that clamped the sling fell out. I said, that ain't supposed to happen. And then there was a wood chip somehow got up into the gas system. So I cleaned this shit out for these guys. And I should have told them I'll buy the gun from you for like $700 if it don't work. So I should have done, but I'm not an asshole. And I got the gun running for a guy, and he went and shot it and was happy. But that's what it was. And I mean, buying a gun worth $1,500. And I mean, these idiots don't understand. Take the gun apart. It's simple, thing to do. And that's what it was. Somebody fucked with it and jammed it. And they're like, oh, it's broken. It's no good. I got screwed. Yeah, just get the wood splinters out of the damn gas system. You'd be all right. Yeah, running the show. That's true, but I think change is coming. Be lucky to own a Red Ryder BB gun the way things are going. Yeah, that's about it. See, that's the thing. Uh, there are a lot of other topics I'd like to bring up, and there's a lot of talk going on. But all these countries where they've disarmed people, okay? I know Canada's pushing it, but I mean, Australia, Brazil, all of them, you see all these major countries have actually taken any type of firearms away from the civilians. That's not a good sign. Unfortunately, they cannot really do that here, okay? Because like last night, me and my wife were out there in a display of gunfire. My wife said, "There's no way in hell that they can pull something, really bad here, because these people they're armed and they will rebel." So, it's sad that it goes like that, and if it'll reverse or whatever, I don't know. In my lifetime, the only thing I can say is, for the time I got left, I don't think it would ever get to that. But say 40, 50 years from now, I have no idea what condition the world will be in, or this country. You know, it's kind of sad to say, but it does appear things are shifting back somewhat. A lot of these weird things are being put back. I'm surprised they haven't had another, health crisis. They've talked about it, but and some people that were in, the medical stuff, guy I knew it was a nurse was telling me it's coming and they're going to bring it in. Didn't happen. Okay. Um, all this stuff had nothing to do with health. It's all just gumming up and destroying the economy and people's livelihoods is what it is. And that's what is scary, and that's what we got to watch out for. Like I said, I'm kind of out of the game now, and I ain't got to worry about some of these things like losing my job and being unemployed for years on end. But if the economy crashes, doesn't matter where you sit, things ain't going to be good. Shoot, the Second Amendment will never go away. Young kids are getting armed at speed. And that's true. Okay, that is true. But see, what's happening, like I was discussing yesterday with the deflation and that, is there were so many shortages. And yes, there was a person that asked me, do you see, 5.56 and 9 millimeter going to where there's shortages? I don't believe you're going to see that. The market's kind of flooded, and already they've jacked up. The one ammo place has already added for the new year another $20 per case of on 9 millimeter ammo, and it's all the foreign made stuff, which I've never really used a lot of the Czech stuff, Seller and Belote, and then some of the stuff I've used from South America, and the striker fired guns don't like the hard primers because I forget what I got. And yeah, don't buy nothing that says range and training, because if you read the fine print on the box, it's assembled from whatever they could find, be it foreign components or primers or whatever, powder, and assembled here in the United States of America. That stuff is giving me nothing but headaches and a lot of guns. And there are some guns, though. There are some guns that'll eat the stuff up. Hold on a second. I gotta see this. Yes. Now, doctor's office. The robot calls me. You got an appointment? Yeah, I know that. Press 1, confirm it that way. Because if you don't show up, they charge you $80. Assholes. Academy in Texas, fully stocked. Prices are 20% higher. Okay, that's probably true. The primer test you did shocked me at how many duds were in the striker fire guns. Yeah, well, see, this is the thing. When they had trouble getting the material to make the primer cups, okay, so they say. But then again, a lot of this stuff is made in a country where the striker fired guns aren't that popular, and any of the old hammer fired pistols will shoot all this ammo. Okay. The problem with the striker fired guns, I believe, and again, it's how tight they make the tolerances. You got to remember, a lot of these foreign guns, the primer protrusion is quite out there. About 40, 45. That's why AR-15s sometimes really don't like some of this stuff. But it could be a number of things. First, they said the material's there, so they're hard. But I had the PMC ammo was giving me trouble with the sharp edges around the case. Okay, and you can see it that they were just running the machines and not changing the tooling to get it smooth, and all of it. Who knows? But I had that. What was that gun? The Stoger. That Stoger pistol is striker fired, and it shoots any of it, be it the foreign primers, anything. All the crappy ammo goes right through that gun. I don't know why. It's either they got a real powerful spring in there or something, or whatever, but it doesn't miss a lick. Okay. And that was strange. Older rifles. Yeah, I dug out that Remington, what was it, 1889 naval rifle, but I realized I didn't have any. I thought I had some 4570 loaded. I was going to take it out, but I don't. I have to go and look all that up, see about the cast bullets, and then I'll take that out. So some of the older guns, yeah, like I said, the German 7184, I'll get that out. I got two of those. I got one of those Quebec Commando cut down ones, and I got a regular, normal, full size one. Go out and shoot them again. I haven't shot them in many years. I should actually go look at them. But yeah, I probably will. It just to go through stuff. I have so much stuff that I haven't even began to experiment or do anything with. So yeah, probably I will. And there's a lot of people out there that follow my channel that like all the older antique guns anyway, as a majority. Like I said, I do not do a lot of the current mill surplus or like Mauser rifles like some of these other guys do. And that's why they have more subscribers and more views and everything else. But I just, like the old guns. They're fun. They're a challenge. Because really, if you know anything about reloading any of those like 7.7 Japanese, it's all pretty simple stuff to do. You don't run into where there's no load data or nothing, and yeah, it's more expensive than buying surplus ammo, but oh, you want how far am I doing? Cool. Yeah, the doctors there, they're like, yeah, he's 2 minutes late. Gave him a lecture. Finally, 2 hours a minute. Yeah, I've seen that. You go in there, you sit for an hour or so in a damn waiting room with these assholes. You need to stop putting wimpy ass firing pins in guns. See, the thing about the striker fired guns, I believe it has a lot to do with the spring tension. Okay, and everyone you see on YouTube, everybody who checks a new pistol out has to do the trigger pull and reset horseshit. Okay, and the key is the manufacturers watch this. So they try to make these triggers as smooth as you can. But the problem is, in doing that, you have to have a lighter spring on the firing pin. If you put a much heavier spring in there, the gun will go off all the time, but the trigger pull, how they measure it, is a little bit stiffer. And instead of, actually being skilled and getting used to a certain trigger, even though it's a little bit more harder on the pull and practicing to where you're proficient, people want a nice little light trigger so they can just pull the damn thing or whatever. And that's the problem with the striker fire guns, is the manufacturer tries to do this so when it's examined by these experts, with trigger pulling that, and I believe that's what causes a lot of the problems with the light strikes and the guns not functioning well. Or what you can do is just reload ammo with Federal primers, Federal small pistols. They're the most sensitive ones, and that's what I did to solve any problems I had with my Taurus Spectrum. If I put Federal primers and load them into the 380 rounds, they all work. No light strikes, no problems, no nothing. And that's just the way it goes. Let's see. Okay, especially in cheap pistols, gun geek, because no one whose life depends on a budget shoots premium ammo in them. Yeah, we need a tactical Koba49. Ruger. Okay. Let's see. This is the first test firing down pistols. I shoot garbage steel case ammo, and if it doesn't run, I get a different gun. Yeah, that's one way of looking at it. Okay. The thing is, though, I don't have any more of that steel cased ammo because the stuff I used to get it for like $4 a box, and there's another little ad thing, and we'll get rid of that. And now they're charging you almost the same as brass case reloadable ammo for the steel ammo. So I don't buy it anymore. Like the Mini 14, but I despise what Bill Ruger did. All right. Big difference, particularly in cocked and fully cocked strikers. Yes, that's true. That's another thing. It is in the design. Okay, and I'm not an expert and able to remember what each and every single one does. The fully cocked ones, yes, would probably function better than ones where your trigger pull is pulling back on it a little. And some pins. Yeah, Ruger's. I may be getting a Mini 14 shortly here. I don't know. It's a long story, but there's a point where I may end up with one. An old one. And I had one at one time. They were a neat gun. I bought that back around 1979, 1980. I used to shoot that thing. I loved it. But then again, I wanted an AR, so kind of had to swap things around. And I wish I kept that old Colt and didn't have a forward assist on it, the old civilian models. That thing would be worth some money now as a collector's item. But those things, way back when, they were 5.5. Okay. Those guns were expensive, and the only ones you could get were Colt. And then I did a video on that one gun that there was another company that was allowed to make a semi-automatic AR-15, and I forget. I think it was Palmetto State Armory or something. Some old guy had that gun. He said he had a problem with it, and what happened was somebody filed the hell out of the sear trying to smooth the trigger out, and the gun would double tap. And they were all nervous that it was modified into an automatic weapon. And I just said, just relax, guys. I pulled all the stuff out, put a brand new sear trigger and hammer in there, and said, there. I said, I had the old parts, and that's what's wrong with it now. The gun shoots fine. It shoots 100%. And, oh, okay, yeah, you know. All right. Happy New Year for Koba. Thanks for the videos. You're welcome, Don. I'd love to get the old P-Series Ruger one. So cool. Yeah, Olympic Arms was the one that was making ARs years and years ago. Okay, they were one of the first ones that they would build them. But there was one gun, we're talking early 80s, Matt, other than Colt. If you wanted a civilian AR-15, because I believe the patents didn't run out yet, you had to buy a Colt, and they were quite expensive. I think my H-bar, the last one I got, I still have that H-bar. Actually, I just recently did a video on that, revisiting old guns. That thing was close to, at the time, $900 and some dollars and stuff. So yeah, they weren't cheap. And it's an accurate gun. There's some people, oh, it's not as accurate as it can be. Well, yeah, I don't know. It's, for me, it's accurate enough. Yep, back in '92. That's about when I got it. 220, hoping get some loading gear for it. Anything from, let me see, Royal Tiger? Nope. All my Royal Tiger fooling around is done. You know, all their stuff is pretty much junk. You know, if you catch a sale and you can find the parts to rebuild them, the problem is a lot of these guns, with everybody doing that, all the spare parts from any weird place like Gun Parts Corporation or whatever, they're all gone. Even the Swiss Vetterli, somebody come up to me, they were missing a part out of the bolt, the striker system. And I went and looked around, and all you can find is a couple screws, maybe the ammo lift gate and mechanism, and a few screws. And then the stocks, they want, you know, $180, $200 for a butt stock or whatever. And, you know, yeah, trying to rebuild them isn't a good idea. And Royal Tiger, their stuff, it's pretty beat to shit, you know. I mean, they did have them rare guns. That last batch I bought, okay, those guns are rare. They're very hard to find. Okay, and I learned my lesson. I got one good one out of there that I paid the shop for. I got two of them. One of them I fixed up, but the other one, the damn barrel was loose now. I sold that at an auction. Took a loss on it. You know, I just let it go. You know, because I don't intend on finding or buying broken guns and trying to rebuild them. There's nothing wrong in doing that. It's just the time, the money, and the aggravation. And like I said, at my age, you know, I've gotten some guns, some older guns. It took me 2.5, 3 years to find anybody even offering a spare part. Searching the internet every day. Okay, and then you're paying, you know, a really ungodly price for what, to get the gun running again. And generally, it's not worth it. And like people said, yeah, you know, the price of mill surplus is totally out of control. You know, Royal Target screwed the market up big. Well, no, not really. You know, it's people people want to get these examples of these guns, and you know, they buy it. DPMS actually second, the oldest dealer AR maker. Yeah, I mean, when they were actually made. But I'm telling you, going back to the late 70s, the only one that made them was that one company. And I seen that example and shot it. And DPMS, Olympic Arms, and all that started doing it through there. In 92, we also had the Daewoo shotgun and the street sweeper. Yeah, those things came out of South Africa, and you could buy them, and I was tempted, but then they became something happened where you would have to go and register them uh, as a National Firearms Act weapon, and I'm glad I didn't, because really, you pick up a box of 12 gauge shotgun shells, okay, there's some weight there. You put that in some weird ass drum magazine and some kind of shotgun, you're carrying a crew served weapon with you. I watched Rough Koreans on live TV, and my dad wanted all the Daewoo. I've seen them pistols come up. I remember when they were around, they made a Daewoo rifle and they made a pistol. And whenever you see them, they're quite expensive. They want like 5+ for them. So I never really, kind of got into it. All right, let's see. Aquastar. I got a C grade label from them and was able to make a few parts I needed for it out of spare junk. $400 for a label, even if it was crusty, is a dream come true for me. Never would have had one otherwise. Oh yeah, I mean, the thing is, 400, and I don't know what they go for now. Okay. C grade label. You talking the old rifle? They go for well over $1,000. I know that. I bought one. I forget what the hell I paid for it. I bought it from on Gunbroker. I think I paid like $700-800, which I thought was high, but now they after that World War One, the anniversary of World War One or something, they became more desirable, and they go for quite a lot of money now. Yep, destructive device. Yep, the street sweeper. DP-51 South Korean pistol. Yeah, I think those, I don't know if Atlantic Firearms has some of them. They want to do away with Mini 14 and Mini 30 here. Yeah, because they're basically clip-fired guns. Even though they're not been accepted by the military, a lot of them were used by law enforcement and some foreign militaries, I believe, the French police or something. Mini 14s were used, not by the U.S. military, but they were used in prisons and stuff, and all that other fun shit. But they were a popular gun, and I don't even know if they're making. I'm not quite sure about it. I haven't fooled with any of them so many years. I don't have an opinion on them. But yeah, in Canada they don't want to. Bore diameter. What do you mean by that, Hunter? Bore diameter of what? Colts. Oh, bore diameter because of destructive device. It's over a ½ inch. I think that's what you mean. What the hell is going on here? Okay. friendly reminder. These doctors. Okay, from 314-4299 Shooting Channel. He sent me a Happy New Year message. I don't see him here, but so he has wished us a Happy New Year. So another subscriber friend, however you want to call it, describe it, has sent a Happy New Year wish. So great. It's a wonderful day today. All right. So, yeah, a lot of things over the years, got outlawed, changed to prison system, the hanging out one, A&M, one carbine. Yeah. Sporting purpose clause is trash. Yep. Yes, the Mini 14 was an innovative gun. Basically, it's like one guy said, why don't they make something like the M1 carbine in 223? And I said, there's a Mini 14. And a Mini 30 was very popular. I worked with a guy that had one. I never bought one because I had AKs out the butt. And he loved that gun. He used to shoot it all the time and thought it was really great, Mini 30. And I really haven't kept track of those, much. Because I did get out of kind of gun collecting. Actually, my collection took a real bad hit when I had to move. I sold a lot of things. I sold a lot of things that I did not want to sell, but I had to. And it even got worse when I had to come and choke up the money to get this house, new start, new job. Things were bad. So I kind of got out of the collecting for a while. And once I got myself established and got stabilized with what I was doing, then I, started building my collection again. And actually, when all the World War I, World War II type rifles years ago were things that people were interested, especially anything German. A lot of the antique guns and Carcanos. I bought several oddball Carcanos, and I thought I was paying a lot of money at the time. Spending $180, or some of them I think went up to $200. I thought that was, outlandish at the time because, generally they used to sell when I was a teenager for $30, $40, and they weren't cut down or anything, so it changes. And another thing, when you look at it, and like everyone goes, well, hey, back in the 80s, this gun cost, $90 or $120. If you look back like to 1980, and what the hell I had to do to come up with an extra $100 after paying my bills for what I made, when you compare the rate of inflation, in reality, everything's quite stagnant. Okay. And since the 70s, your wages, even though what I made back in the 80s compared to what I was making when I retired, the dollar value is way different. But what I ended up with, and it's like for a vast majority of my life, I made the same amount of money for over 40 years. Okay. No matter what the denomination is, 20% more, 40% more, and same with the guns. Okay. When you look at the mads, oh, wow, they want $800 for the gun, but, you used to be able to buy it for $95, but, choking up $95, that was a chunk of money, at one time. It's all, you got to put it all in perspective. Now, if you're one of them fortunate people, like I said, the PA gun guy, that he's buying these $1,000, $1,200, $15 weapons and doing stuff. So let's see. Let's see what we got here. How about banning 50 cal? Even though he owned a few personally, Ronnie Barrett, he wouldn't service any of government rifles. Okay. Up here, selling surplus in any amount in surplus had about good condition, $1,300 Canadian. Ammo is harder to get or load. Components to load are same brasses. Yeah. Yeah, the label is not not a good thing. And our old friend Shady Grady shows up once again. Molson Gold Beer, Copenhagen. Yes, sir. Well, I don't think Molson makes that beer anymore. They make something different, but they do not make the old Molson Gold. They make Molson Canadian beer and Molson American beer or something. They've changed it. That's been dropped from the line, Grady. They still make Copenhagen, oh buddy. Going to get a lot worse, Rodney. Yeah, that's true. Explain to me everything was cheaper in the 70s, but you weren't paid jack either. Yeah, that's about it. You know, you didn't make a lot of money. Okay. And that's the thing. It was kind of different then. I mean, this interest rates. The first car I bought back in 1980. My mother worked in a credit union, got me a deal, and the loan I took out on the car at the price it was the deal was 16.9% interest on that loan. Okay, and I mean, if I did it at that age with no credit rating or not owning a home, it would have been 20%. Take the line. Now, I guess the last few was 3%, 2.5 or something, until cars got to where they're about $1.5 million down, so like somebody said yesterday, 75 grand, Okay, 223 about was a Savage Access 2 compact. All right, I got that Savage wooden stock one I bought from somebody. I think it is an Access. It is. It's a good gun. They're a good shooting gun. I had a Molson some years back, was pretty good. I've been drinking a lot of this malt liquor called Stack stuff. It's dirt cheap and different, decent and cold. Yeah, See the Molson had a stronger alcohol content to it. And that's why I liked it. Malt liquor, I had a friend, or that ice beers. That was another thing. Back in the 90s, they had dry. They started Michelob Dry. Back then I was Tenenbaum. Michelob Dry, then the ice. Everybody made an ice beer. And the ice beer was like drinking a shot in a beer. And I think that ice house was something. I know people that there was a woman at the Legion up to when she was 93 or something, they had to put her in the home. She would come down there and get one of them ice house beers and drink them. She'd only drink one or two, but yeah, it was ice beers. Or what was it? Mickey's malt liquor in a wide mouth bottle. I like that. And they brought it back. I never bought any or drank it, but they brought it back for a while. That was good. Yeah. Yeah, Shady Grady, you still working your normal schedule? I got to give you a call and talk to you here. Just see how you are. Malt liquor is one of them, not for rookie stuff. Drunken snackering before bed and some water. It's a must. Bud Ice, okay, they still, I don't know if they still make them. I don't see them. A lot of people don't drink them in the bars I go to, and I know that's kind of depends on the place and who you got in there. Because I remember a guy was telling me I didn't realize they still made 7-ounce bottles of beer. That was another popular thing. OV splits, split beers, and that. They used to make them a lot, or there was a thing you got a bucket with ice and you bottle little beers in there. But I was sitting there when a guy came in. He said, "Yeah, he half the truck's loaded with these 7-ounce beers. These takes some Mexican place. It's all Dos Equis and Tecate and that." And he goes, they love them 7-ounce beers. Find a small bolt gun. Yeah, a small bolt gun in 7.62 by 39. The Czechs made one. They're quite expensive. But a Baikal single shot, kind of don't. And they haven't been made. I don't know if you guys still get them up in Canada. We don't get them here in the States anymore. The Zastavas were good, yes, if you can find them. The Yugo guns. Mini Mauser. I don't know, they could get quite expensive there. Savage. Favorite Mexican beer for Coronas. Yeah, I can't remember. I used to go to Tijuana 3 or 4 times a damn week in the evening when I was stationed down in San Diego. I used to drink Tecates. Then I drank Coronas. Then Coronas became popular. Now that's, every bar sells Coronas. You got to put a lime in it so it don't taste like wet cardboard. But yeah. Okay, so we've been going over an hour again. Yeah, the bolt guns, Rodney, in 223 or 7.62, they're a neat little gun. Usually they're smaller, lighter, and the recoil ain't horrible on them. And, at close range, like you said, deer hunting, uh, pretty good. Lots of Tecate gets drunk when I lived in New Mexico. Yeah, I only passed through there, never did stay there much. Whew. So, hard to get suppressors in Canada. Yeah, well, Canada's a fun place. So now we got the new year started off. Everybody's going to go and make more ammo and do more stuff, and all that's fine. That's about what I'm going to do, is just kind of work on that stuff and do that. But I've been thinking maybe the winter months being cold, maybe start another usual live broadcast. I don't know. These are pretty good. We don't get nobody haggling. I don't need a monitor or nothing. Basically when I keep it short with just a few fellas in here, we don't have no problems. When I used to do it on a regular basis, that's when we get people just doing weird crap and starting arguing in the comments and stuff, or flooding the comments with just the same thing over and over again. And I know several people said we'll be monitors or whatever, but I just like keeping it casual. I think the most we had here was about 20 people or something. But I may think about it. And again, when I was doing a random thing that most people, it's question and answer for free advice. Like one guy, how do you check the headspace on a rifle without headspace gauges? Well, to do it correctly, you don't. Okay, I don't have a half-ass trick or something, and I'm not going to tell somebody to do something that's quite dangerous either. People kind of don't understand that stuff. Uh, Nothing. The lesson report of a gun. Dead bodies. Blah blah. Suppressors are over. Yeah, I mean, some European countries, they don't care about that. Muzzle brakes are okay, no suppressors or silencers. Let's go wild, guy. No, I don't have any monitors going. And when it's kind of impromptu like this, and there's not a lot of people, nothing gets out of control. But I don't know. I'll kick the idea around. If I do, I'll say something about it, and maybe go back to where it used to be Sundays or something. Of course, I was kind of working too back then. May pick another day. So put it down in the comment section. What would be a decent day for a weekly chat? And I may go and get the other software, use the other thing to where we can have some of our guests come in uh, again, which that was always fun and interesting. Things got going good and went on for a while, and we had more people. All right then, guys. I'm still a little worn out from staying up all night to watch the ball drop. I'd like to thank you all for coming again. And I think I'm going to wrap it up and go about my business. So, once again, fellas, thanks you for showing up. And I will see you in the meantime. And like I said, you know, put down in the comments if you think, a day or something. And I might think about coming back to it again, as long as it don't get tedious and crazy like it did before. All right, guys.